On their wedding night, Bothwell's alleged to confess to Mary his involvement in Darnley's murder. Imagine that. Imagine if on your wedding night your husband confessed to murdering your ex-husband. That'd be the sexiest wedding night of all time. They should have themed honeymoon suites around that exact premise. But Bothwell didn't love Mary. He was just using her to try and make himself more powerful. He's like every single Tory voting for Liz Truss in the leadership election. He was, however, insanely jealous and violent. Anyone that even looked at Mary, he'd go full Amber Heard on. And almost immediately after their wedding, Mary and Bothwell were forced to escape Edinburgh as the Lords were marching on the city. They had to leave the city as an army of arseholes came marching towards them. They were like Edinburgh residents preparing for the Fringe. They were able to make it to Dunbar and raise an army of around 2,000. The Lords marched in their position and the two armies came within sight of each other at Carberry Hill near Musselburgh. There, the Lords said that a battle could be avoided if Mary left Bothwell or if Bothwell engaged in hand-to-hand combat. Now, there's two quite curious things about this. The first is that the Lords seem to have forgotten that just weeks earlier they had signed a bond giving their support for a marriage between Mary and Bothwell, an event they were now conveniently washing their hands of like Boris Johnson pretending he wasn't at a lockdown party. The second thing is they seem to have forgotten that Bothwell was hard as nails. Like, aye, he might be an attention-starved alpha male, but he could take on anyone in a square go. He was the king of all bar one, as it were. He was rubbing his hands at the prospect of hand-to-hand combat. But Mary was insistent that Bothwell not fight, and so a standoff ensued. A standoff on the hottest day of the year. And as dehydration and thirst set in the Royal Army, it became abundantly clear that the Royal Army quickly forgot about their loyalty to the Queen when they got a wee bit thirsty. They were like Rangers fans in Seville, although I don't think they had to resort to drinking toilet water at least. Mary agreed to hand herself over to the Lords, but only if Bothwell was allowed to escape. And so the sex offender rode to Dunbar, where he heard they were opening a Pizza Express, while Mary crossed the battlefield. She crossed the battlefield to heckles of "burn the whore" and "kill the murderess."